Okay, this is the video for classwork for the sub. I'm going to have you take that blank copy and then listen to what I say. Copy all the work, every single thing I do. I want you to copy down. And then, of course, write down the 5 words to show me that you listened. Here we go. For version number 2. All right, so again, for these, all you need to do is look at the numbers that I'm giving you and then use those to write the first one equation. So again, take that blank packet that hopefully the sub gave you, copy the work into those blanks. And the second one, inequality. So this first one is equation. So I have 3 peaches, so I write that 3p plus 5 watermelons, 5w, equation equal, and then 12.40. For the next equation, use those numbers. 2 peaches, 2p plus 3 watermelons equals $10.35 or 10.35. Again, on this problem, I'm not having you solve it. I'm just having you write them. So again, don't take the time to solve this. I'm not sure your equation or your answer is probably going to be a yucky decimal. Just write the equation. The first word is green. Green. System of equations. All right, next, these are inequalities, and I could tell by the words at least and no more, which is another way of saying at most. So at least is the more than or equal to direction, so know that. At most is the less than or equal to direction. That is key. First equation will be from numbers of t-shirts. We'll say long sleeve, we'll say X, plus short sleeve, we'll call them Y, and then it has to be at least more than or equal to 20. Important that it goes that way, important that it has that line under there. For the next equation, dealing with the money, I'm going to have 8 long sleeve, I'll use that X, plus the 3 short sleeve Y, and then at most, less than or equal to, make sure it goes that direction, and then 100. On this problem, you're not solving it. The only way you could solve it was to graph it and to see what coordinates are in the solution zone. That's the only way you could really solve it. All right, keep going. The hard one. This one, what you need to make the adjustment. Just remember, sports fans, for this one, they're going to make it a little easier where they're not going to be equal to decimals. It won't be equal to 6.78. It will be equal to a whole number. But you pay the price by having to explain what the answers mean. So I'll show you a little bit of that. Let's keep going. To that bottom row to get those A terms to eliminate. So I'm going to times that whole bottom row by -4 and distribute all the way through. I'm going to take the time to rewrite both equations. That top row does not change, stays as is. That bottom row, after I times everything by that -4, you got to times that all the way through. So -4 times 2 gives me -8a, and that's what's going to cancel. -4 times 5 gives me -20b, positive times a negative, negative. -4 all the way down times 4.5 positive. I'm going to use my calculator because I never want to make a mistake on that. Gives me -18, it says. Let's just double check that works. So -4 times 4.5, -18. Now I'm going to combine these. These are going to cancel away because they're opposites. +3 and -20 are going to give me negative 17, use your calculator, equals negative 18 plus that 6.78. It's going to give me negative 11.22. Now the opposite, dividing, opposite timesing by negative 17, dividing by negative 17, both sides. That's going to make that answer positive. And it's going to give me a nice neat decimal, 0.66. Now the key on this one is to take that B number and plug it into any of these equations for B and then solve for the remaining A. So here I go. I'm going to take that top one. I got 8A, solving for A now, plus 3. Where that B is, that's where I plug in this 0.66. Got equal to 4.5. That gives me 8A plus 1.98. Right here, I'm going to subtract 1.98 on both sides. I use my calculator always, never mess around with arithmetic, doing it by hand. So 4.5 minus 1.98 gives me positive 2.52. Opposite timesing by 8, dividing both sides by 8. And something is wrong there. Oh, there's my mistake. Right here, that 4.5, I'm going to erase that. Looks like I made a comma mistake there. I plugged in the wrong decimal. Yeah, I've been seeing some of you do that too. When you're plugging that back in, make sure you're using all those numbers, the 8, the 3, and the 6.8. Don't mix it up and use the 8 and the 3 and then the 4.5 from the other equation. Don't do that. Right there for the wrong equation. This should be 6.78. So fix that. Check your precision there. That makes a huge difference. Fix your paper, please. All right. Sorry about that. So that 6.78 minus 1.98 gives me 4.8. There we go. And then that divided by 8 gives me the 0.6 answer. Try to make that so the answers are nice, kind of neat. Make sure you write your answer. So A is 0.6, and then B is 0.66, and of course this one. All right, and this, remember, on the real benchmark now I'm hearing, they're not going to have you explain your method. They're going to have you explain what those numbers mean in terms of the problem itself. So if that means if I'm buying that many apples and bananas for that price, when I solve for A, that's the unit rate for the price of apples. That 0.6 represents $0.6 or 60 cents for every one apple you're buying. That B number, 0.66, represents how much I'm paying for each banana. So again, that A on the test, you can't just say 0.6. You have to say that 0.6 represents the amount for every apple. That B, that 0.66, represents the unit rate or the amount for each banana. That is $0.6 for every one apple. That is $0.66 for every one banana. You need to explain what those numbers mean. The second word is black. Black. Nice complete understanding. Got to talk about your method, and I would talk about mainly getting rid of that A term by multiplying -4, solving for B, and then taking B, plugging it back in, and solving for A. All right, keep going. All right, this one, inequalities. The one in blue looks like it has this dotted one I'm going to do. First is the y-intercept, looks like 3. Looks like this one is shading below, so my inequality for this one is going to be the less than direction. I'm not going to put the equal line under there because it's a dotted line. So this inequality is going to be y less than, and then the slope of this line, the way I have it, connecting two dots on that line, any two dots, I'm going over two boxes and then straight up one to connect those two dots. Any two dots on that line will give you the slope. So if I take that rise and run going over two and then stepping up one, that is a slope of 1 over 2 or 1/2. Make sure your x is way up high. Don't want to put it down low with the 2. And then my y-intercept right there looks like is 3 plus 3. All right, the one in red looks like a solid line. Looks like it is shading above. So for my red inequality, it's going to be the more than or equal to direction. It's always y, of course. And then my slope for that one, a little bit more high tech. To connect two dots on this line, I'm going over 1, but then going down 2 for my rise. So technically that slope is -2 over 1. But of course, we just write it as -2. And then don't forget that x right there. Some people forgot that x. And then that is plus 3. All right, keep going. For this one, it says rotate. Gotta make sure you look at the letters though. This has no marks. That means this is where it's starting. This one has little marks on it, which means where it's ending. So this is the pre-image where it's beginning. This is the image. If you mess that up, you might think by mistake it's starting here and going down, but that's mistaken because it's starting here and going up, turning to the left. So for this problem, the only one that works is a 90-degree quarter turn to the left. So that would be this one right here. Quarter turn to the left. It wouldn't be a quarter turn to the right because it's not starting there and going to the right. That would be mistaken. It would not be a 270 because that would take it 3/4 of the way and end up here, not all the way. And then for this one, third word is tan. Tan. One for sure, it's not the reflection over the x-axis because that would look something like this. And then translate 1 to the right, 2 up. Not going to do much for you. So again, those are not good choices there. All right, quarter turn to the left. For this one, another quarter turn, but this one on benchmark for this one, they're going to have nice, neat grids. They're not going to have it just blank like this. One is going to the right. So coordinate awareness here. Every time you take a coordinate and move that quarter turn to the right, I'm going to flip that coordinate and then opposite that right one. There is really no opposite of -0 or at 0. We just write that 0. So that becomes 3, 0. And the way I structured this one, 3, 0. If that's 5 all the way to there, 3, 0 clearly did not get close to that triangle for this problem. So it landed outside the triangle. Of course, if this would have been like 6, 0, 6, that would have ended up inside that triangle barely as it did a quarter turn to the right. But this one ended up outside. All right, here we go. This one, again, make sure this is where it's starting and it's going to there. Make sure you know that, otherwise you'll mess up on this. So for here, I'm going to connect C to the new C, chart that movement. Looks like I'm going right and then up. If I count that, looks like I'm going right 9, up 4. The right 9 goes with the X, the up 4 goes with the Y. Those are both positive. So I have that first choice showing that changing each x coordinate, adding 9, each y coordinate, adding 4. All those others are just. Fourth word is yellow. Yellow. Slight variations trying to throw you off. And then B and C have the same choice. So hopefully no one picked up. All right, here we go. Number 9, this one. The only way you get here is the 360 completion on this one, remember. So if I do a quarter turn, and then the way I have this one correctly, C is the answer. It looks like I do a quarter turn to the left, and then I keep going a 3/4 turn, continuing to the left, and then 3/4, 1, 2, 3/4 takes it right there. So of course that gives me the 360 turn all to the left to get that image mapped upon itself. The ones that are bad, of course, do a quarter turn to the right, but then a 3/4 turn back to the left. Does not work. And then those half ones, if I could try to show you all the half ones, if I do a half turn, ends up here no matter which way I go. And then from there, a quarter turn will never, either way I go, take me back to this spot right here. So the only one that works is the 360 rotation. All right, last problem. This one, the way I have it set up, the ones that work is if I reflect it over this y-axis first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Triangle will end up like this. And then if I move it over the y-axis from there to get back to number 2, I'm going to have to move to the right 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one is the one that works. Reflect over the y-axis first. So that's like 1B, and then move 4 to the right. The ones that don't work, of course, is if I reflect over the y-axis there and then move 4 to the left. That's not going to work. The other ones, translate 4 right, would move that way over here, and then reflect over the y-axis would end up way over here. So that one doesn't work. If I translate though 4 left, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. My triangle should look like this. And then if I reflect over the y-axis, it will end up right there. And then the last one I have on this one that works is, of course, if I take the line x equals 2, if I get rid of this one right here, x equals 2 is this line right here. If I reflect over that line, that will give me my other answer, because equal distance over any line I'm reflecting over is a definition of a reflection. And of course, on this one, you need to explain in words which one cannot be a transformation. Any problem that you need to explain, make sure you're explaining in complete sentences. So it looks like that one you need to explain in complete sentences. So complete sentences with the first letter capitalized. If you cannot capitalize that first letter, I can't give you full credit for what you write. All right, the fifth and final word is white. So just double check, look that you have every single thing I wrote on your packet if you want full credit, and the 5 words. Good luck.